If only the Russian Mafia boss had refused the simple favor, the blood soaking into the frozen cathedral steps would not have been his brother's. Snow falls heavy across central Moscow. The white flakes turn red where they land. Sirens echo through the ancient streets, getting closer with each passing second. The boss holds his younger brother Dmitri in his arms. The sniper's bullet tore through Dmitri's chest exactly 3 minutes ago. His brother's breathing comes in short, desperate gasps. Dmitri's hand grabs the boss's collar with fading strength. His lips move slowly, forcing out words through the pain and blood. "It started with the crates," he whispers. Then his hand goes limp. His eyes stay open, staring at nothing. The Mafia boss's mind races backward through the past 6 weeks. The charity request, the medical supplies, the strange deaths, the paranoia spreading through his organization like poison in water. Everything traces back to that Sunday morning outside this same cathedral. A woman with kind eyes and perfect paperwork asked him for one simple favor. He should have known better. Nothing in his world was ever simple. 6 weeks earlier, the boss stands outside the cathedral after Sunday service. He attends every week for appearance. The city needs to see their most powerful crime lord respects tradition and faith. A woman approaches him carefully. She is maybe 30 years old, wearing a simple coat and carrying a worn leather folder. Her name tag reads Anna Volkov and identifies her as director of the Mercy Foundation. "Mr. Volkov, I apologize for interrupting your morning," she says with genuine politeness. "I represent families of imprisoned men across Moscow. We deliver medical supplies and food to their children." She opens the folder. Inside are permits, charity registration documents, transportation schedules. Everything perfectly organized and completely legal. "Several routes cross territories controlled by your rivals," she continues. "Trucks have been stopped, supplies stolen. These families suffer because of conflicts they did not create." The boss looks at the paperwork. His security chief examines it over his shoulder. "You want safe passage," the boss says. "Just protection for humanitarian deliveries. Nothing more." Granting this favor costs him nothing. It makes him look generous. A protector instead of just a predator. "Approved," he says. "My men will escort your trucks." She thanks him warmly and walks away. He believes he just made the easiest decision of the month. The first shipments move through Moscow without problems. The Mafia boss's soldiers escort 3 white trucks marked with the Mercy Foundation logo. They pass through rival territories. Nobody dares attack vehicles under his protection. Local communities notice. Mothers thank him in the street. Underground forums and message boards share stories about supplies reaching desperate families. One popular post calls him the protector of the forgotten. Another says he remembers what honor means. Even his rivals hesitate. Attacking humanitarian aid makes them look cruel. His public image strengthens while theirs suffers. The big boss reads these messages with satisfaction. Good publicity protects his legitimate businesses. City officials become friendlier. Police investigations slow down. For 3 weeks, everything runs smoothly. The trucks deliver food, medicine, and basic supplies to families across 6 districts. Nobody questions the operation. Then on a Thursday morning, one of the truck drivers is found dead in his apartment. Viktor Petrov, age 28, no criminal record. He handled shipments for 2 weeks before he died. The medical examiner finds no injuries, no poison, no signs of struggle, just pure terror frozen on Viktor's face. His eyes are wide open, staring at something nobody else can see. The Mafia boss demands answers. His security chief brings him photos from Viktor's apartment. The driver's body was found sitting upright in a chair, hands gripping the armrests hard enough to leave marks in the wood. What scared him badly enough to literally frighten him to death? The boss asks. Nobody has answers. Viktor was healthy, stable, no history of heart problems. The autopsy shows massive heart failure caused by extreme stress, but no external cause. The boss orders his men to inspect one of the returned crates personally. He meets them in a warehouse near the river. The wooden crate sits in the center of the empty floor under bright lights. His lieutenant, a man named Oleg who served 20 years in the organization, examines every surface. He runs his fingers along the inside panels. Then he stops. His face goes pale. "Boss, look at this." Burned faintly into the underside of the crate is a 3-line industrial symbol. The lines form a triangle with a circle at each point. Oleg's hands start shaking slightly. I know this logo, he says quietly. This belonged to Christoph Chemical Manufacturing, the warehouse that burned 15 years ago. The Mafia boss's blood turns cold. He gave the order that started that fire. The boss summons Anna Volkov to a private office in one of his nightclubs. She arrives calmly, carrying the same worn leather folder. Two of his largest soldiers stand by the door. She shows no fear. The crates, the boss says without introduction. Where did you source them? A donation from a European logistics company, Anna replies. Everything is documented in my records. She opens her folder and produces receipts, shipping manifests, and donation agreements. Every document looks legitimate. One of my drivers is dead, the big boss continues. Terror stopped his heart. These crates have symbols from a chemical company destroyed 15 years ago. Anna meets his eyes directly. I was 17 years old 15 years ago, she says. I was studying in France. Here are my passport records and university transcripts from that time. She slides more documents across the table. Everything checks out. She was thousands of miles away when the warehouse burned. My foundation has operated legally for 6 years, she adds. We help families. Nothing more. The boss lets her leave. But something feels wrong. That night, two of his soldiers who handled the crates start acting strange. They report seeing shadows moving in empty rooms. They hear whispers when nobody speaks. By morning, both men are dead. They turn their guns on each other. The Mafia boss locks himself in his office with every incident report from the past 3 weeks. He spreads them across his desk and looks for patterns. 5 men dead. All handled specific crates from certain shipments. All experienced paranoia, hallucinations, or terror before dying. He traces batch numbers written on shipping labels. 3 trucks carried contaminated shipments. The other deliveries were completely safe. The boss orders the newest delivery intercepted before distribution. His men stop the truck at a checkpoint outside the city. They bring the crates to a secure location for inspection. The crates contain exactly what the manifests claim. Bandages, antibiotics, basic medical supplies. Everything sealed in legitimate packaging. The big boss's chemist tests samples from inside the crates. Blood tests, chemical analysis, radiation scans. The tests find nothing illegal, nothing dangerous, nothing that explains 5 deaths. The supplies are clean, but his men keep dying. The Mafia boss stares at the test results, knowing he is missing something obvious. The answer is right in front of him, but he cannot see it yet. Whatever killed his men is invisible. Dmitry volunteers to personally supervise the warehouse where contaminated crates are stored. He wants to prove the fear is psychological, not chemical. Our men think they are cursed, Dmitry tells the boss. Someone needs to show them there is nothing to fear. The Mafia boss tries to stop him, but Dmitry is stubborn. He always was the braver brother, the one who never hesitated, the one who believed courage could solve any problem. Dmitry spends 4 hours in the warehouse. He opens crates, moves boxes, touches everything deliberately. He radios back every 30 minutes to confirm he feels fine. Then at the 5-hour mark, his voice changes. Brother, something is wrong, Dmitry says through the radio. His words sound distant, confused. The room is spinning. I cannot focus my eyes properly. If you're wondering what happens next, you're not alone. Subscribe now for stories that grab your heart, and don't let go until the very end. Then the boss sends his security team immediately. They find Dmitry sitting on the concrete floor, sweating heavily, staring at his hands like he does not recognize them. They rush him to a private hospital. Doctors run every test available. They detect trace amounts of a rare airborne compound in his bloodstream, something that should not exist outside military laboratories. The compound activates slowly. Temperature changes make it worse. Dmitry collapses into unconsciousness that night. The Mafia boss pays a black market toxicologist 3 times his normal rate for immediate answers. The man is a former military scientist who now works for whoever pays best. He studies Dmitry's blood samples for 6 hours straight. This is sophisticated work, the toxicologist finally says. The compound is microencapsulated in temperature-sensitive shells. When materials move from cold outdoor air into warm buildings, the shells break down. Particles are released slowly over several hours. What does it do? The boss demands. It crosses the blood-brain barrier and affects neurotransmitter regulation. Victims experience paranoia, aggression, hallucinations, extreme fear responses. In high doses, the psychological stress can cause heart failure. The toxicologist pulls up chemical structure diagrams on his computer. This design matches experimental riot control research from 20 years ago. The program was shut down after test subjects died. Only one facility ever produced this compound. He shows the big boss a classified document leaked years ago. The facility was Christoph Chemical Manufacturing, the warehouse that burned 15 years ago. Someone recreated this formula, the toxicologist says. Someone with access to the original research files. The Mafia boss's mind races. The chemist who died in that fire was named Ivan Morozov. He threatened to expose financial corruption inside the boss's early operations. The boss ordered the warehouse burned to silence him forever. The Mafia boss pulls every archived file from 15 years ago. Police reports, insurance documents, witness statements from the warehouse fire. He reads until his eyes burn and coffee stops helping him focus. Ivan Morozov was 43 when he died. He had a wife and one daughter. His death was ruled accidental. Investigators found no evidence of arson. The boss paid very well to make certain of that. He searches for information about Morozov's family. The wife died 6 years after the fire. Cancer. The daughter moved away to study in Europe. Then the big boss finds her name in university records. Anna Morozov. Changed legally to Anna Volkov 5 years ago. The charity organizer who asked for the simple favor shares Ivan Morozov's last name because she is his daughter. The Mafia boss's hands shake as he picks up his phone. He calls his security chief. Find Anna Volkov. Bring her to me. Now. But his men report back within an hour. Anna's apartment is empty. Her office at the foundation is cleared out. Security cameras show her leaving the city 2 days ago. She disappeared the same day Dmitri went to the warehouse. She knew. She knew exactly what would happen. The boss summons Anna to meet him through an anonymous message sent to the foundation's backup email. Against every logical instinct, she agrees. They meet in a neutral location, a closed restaurant that the Mafia boss controls. She enters calmly and sits across from him at a table covered with evidence of her real identity. You are Ivan Morozov's daughter, the boss says. Yes. Anna replies without hesitation. You poisoned my men. No. I transported medical supplies. Nothing more. My permits were legal. My trucks carried legitimate aid. Your crates are killing my people. Anna looks at him with eyes that show no guilt. I wanted safe passage to help families. That is exactly what I told you. Nothing I said was a lie. Before the big boss can respond, his phone explodes with incoming calls. 3 of his businesses were just attacked simultaneously. His nightclub on the north side, his shipping warehouse at the port, his underground gambling operation in the old district. Rival organizations hit all 3 locations at the same time. But the coordination is too perfect. His rivals should not know exactly when his crews would be understaffed and unstable. Someone told them when to strike. The Mafia boss's security team traces encrypted messages between one of his captains and unknown external accounts. The captain is named Boris, a man who served loyally for 8 years. They bring Boris in for interrogation. The boss watches through one-way glass as his security chief questions him. Who did you contact? The security chief demands. Boris looks confused, frightened. His hands shake. I do not know, Boris says. I keep seeing the symbols. The 3 lines. They appear on walls, on screens, in reflections. They tell me things. What things? They tell me the organization is poisoned. That we need outside help. That only cooperation can save us. The security chief shows him printouts of the encrypted messages. Boris stares at them like he is seeing them for the first time. I do not remember sending these, Boris insists. But the writing looks like mine. More captains report similar experiences. Men who handled the shipments describe seeing symbols and hearing whispers. They make decisions they cannot fully remember making. The paranoia spreads through the big boss's organization like an infection. Nobody trusts anyone. Men refuse assignments, fearing contamination. His empire begins cracking from the inside. The Mafia boss realizes the compound does not just cause fear. It makes people suggestible, controllable. Someone is using his own men against him. The boss's chemist makes a breakthrough. He discovers the compound only activates when crates move from cold outdoor temperatures into heated indoor spaces. The temperature differential breaks down the microcapsules over several hours. The shipments themselves are completely clean, the chemist explains. But the crate lining contains the particles. Every time you open a contaminated crate in a warm warehouse, you release the compound into the air. The delivery system was engineered specifically to exploit normal warehouse operations. Cold trucks unload in warm buildings. Workers open crates immediately. The particles disperse before anyone realizes danger exists. This took years of research, the chemist adds. Someone designed this specifically to destabilize criminal organizations from within. Make leaders paranoid. Make soldiers unreliable. Create chaos without leaving evidence. The Mafia boss examines one of the contaminated crate panels under magnification. The wood looks normal, but embedded in the grain are microscopic synthetic fibers containing the compound. Can we trace the manufacturing? The boss asks. No. These fibers could be produced in any advanced chemical laboratory. There are hundreds worldwide. The big boss realizes whoever planned this thought years ahead. They knew he would eventually investigate. They made certain the trail would go cold. But they made one mistake. They assumed he would never find Anna. The Mafia boss's soldiers raid every property connected to Anna's foundation. Most locations are empty, already cleared of evidence. But one storage facility on the edge of the city shows signs of recent activity. They breach the door to find a legitimate charity warehouse. Shelves hold donated clothes, canned food, medical supplies. Everything matches the Foundation's public mission. Then one of his men notices the back wall sounds hollow when knocked. Behind a false panel, they discover a small laboratory. Stainless steel tables, chemical storage cabinets, animal testing cages with dead rats inside. Equipment for synthesizing complex compounds. On the wall hangs a single photograph in a wooden frame. The picture shows Ivan Morozov shaking hands with a younger version of the boss at a public business event. Both men are smiling. The photo was taken 6 months before the warehouse fire. Below the photo, someone wrote in careful handwriting, "He smiled while planning your death." The Mafia boss stares at the image. He barely remembers that event. Some charity gala where he made donations for publicity. Standard procedure for maintaining his public image. Ivan Morozov probably thought they were allies that night. 3 months later, the boss ordered him burned alive. Anna spent years building this revenge. She learned chemistry. She recreated her father's research. She designed a weapon specifically targeting criminal organizations. But if she wanted revenge, why not just kill the big boss directly? Why destroy his empire instead? The Mafia boss digs deeper into the original warehouse fire. He revisits financial records from 15 years ago, documents he has not looked at since then. His former financial advisor was named Viktor Orlov. Viktor provided the intelligence that Ivan Morozov was stealing money and preparing to expose the organization to authorities. Viktor said Morozov had to be silenced immediately. The boss trusted him completely. But looking at the records now, the big boss notices irregularities. Money disappeared from accounts Morozov never accessed. Audit trails were modified weeks before Morozov allegedly discovered them. Someone framed Morozov by creating false evidence of theft. The Mafia boss finds Viktor Orlov's current location through old contacts. He lives in a private compound outside Moscow, supposedly retired but still connected to several legitimate businesses. The boss's team surrounds the compound at night. Viktor tries to run when he realizes they are coming. They corner him at a private airstrip where a plane waits with engines running. Viktor holds his hands up in surrender when he sees the big boss approach. "I had no choice," Viktor says immediately. "They would have killed my family." "Who?" the boss demands. "Morozov was innocent. I stole the money and blamed him. I fed you false intelligence to make you order the fire." "Who forced you?" Before Viktor can answer, his head snaps back. A rifle shot from somewhere in the darkness. Viktor collapses dead. The Mafia boss's men search the area, but find no shooter. Someone is watching. Someone who kills anyone close to revealing the truth. The Mafia boss returns to his headquarters in the center of Moscow. His organization is falling apart. Half his captains refuse to work, fearing contamination or betrayal. His soldiers fight each other over paranoid suspicions. Rival organizations sense weakness. They push into territories the boss controlled for 15 years. His income drops by 40% in 2 weeks. Underground message boards that once praised him now share rumors about his instability. Posts claim he has lost control, that his own men are turning against him, that his empire built on fear is crumbling because he cannot even protect his own people from invisible poison. Dmitri remains in the hospital, weak and barely conscious. Doctors say the compound caused permanent neurological damage. Even if he recovers, he will never be the same. The big boss sits alone in his office at 3 in the morning. He drinks expensive vodka that tastes like nothing. The bottle is half empty. He thinks about that Sunday morning outside the cathedral. Anna approached him with perfect paperwork and a simple request. She looked so harmless, so genuine. She played him perfectly. She knew he would agree because refusing would look cruel. She knew his need for good publicity would override his caution. She weaponized his vanity against him. The phone on his desk rings. Unknown number. The Mafia boss answers anyway because he has nothing left to lose. Anna's voice comes through clearly. Meet me at the Bolshoi Theater. Tonight. Come alone. The line goes dead. The story returns to the present timeline. To the frozen cathedral steps. To Dmitri bleeding out in the boss's arms. After his brother dies, the Mafia boss watches security footage from the cathedral. He studies every angle, every frame, looking for the shooter. The angle suggests someone fired from a building 3 blocks away. Advanced military-grade rifle. Professional assassination technique. His security chief traces the weapon signature to a private military contractor called Sentinel Defense Solutions. They operate in 40 countries. They provide security services to governments and corporations. Why would a private military company target Dmitri? The security chief asks. The big boss has no answer yet. But the pieces start connecting in ways that make his blood run cold. Sentinel Defense Solutions was founded 18 years ago by former intelligence officers. Their main income comes from government security contracts. One of their largest clients is the Moscow city government. They provide security consulting and risk assessment services. Contracts worth hundreds of millions of rubles. The Mafia boss realizes this was never just about revenge for Anna's father. This was about business. Someone needed chaos in Moscow's criminal underworld. Someone who profits when the city becomes unstable enough to justify massive security contracts. Destabilizing organized crime creates justification for privatized military solutions. He was not Anna's target. He was her weapon. The boss receives another message. Anonymous, untraceable. Just coordinates and a time. The location is the abandoned Bolshoi Theater on the east side. The building closed 15 years ago after a fire. Nobody uses it now except homeless people and drug addicts. The Mafia boss goes alone despite his security chief begging him not to. He brings 2 pistols and a knife, but no backup. If this is a trap, bringing soldiers will not save him. The theater is cold and dark inside. His footsteps echo on cracked marble floors. The stage is covered in debris and graffiti. Anna stands in the center of the stage, alone, lit by moonlight through broken windows. You killed my brother, the boss says. I did not pull the trigger, Anna replies. You started everything. The crates. The poison. The chaos. Anna nods slowly. I could have just killed you, she says. Shot you outside the cathedral that first Sunday. Easy revenge. Why did you not? Because killing you would make you a martyr. Your organization would continue under new leadership. Your legacy would survive. She walks forward slowly. But destroying your control? Making your men unstable? Showing the world that your empire was built on fear and silence? That tears down everything you created. The big boss raises his pistol. But he does not fire. Why tell me this? He asks. Because you are not the real villain in this story, Anna says. Anna sits on the edge of the stage. She looks tired, like someone who carried a heavy weight for too many years. I spent 6 years planning revenge for my father, she begins. I learned chemistry. I studied your organization. I designed the perfect weapon to destroy you from inside. You succeeded, the Mafia boss says bitterly. I thought I wanted you destroyed. I believe justice meant watching your empire burn the way you burned that warehouse. Anna pulls out a laptop and opens files. But while researching you, I found something else. Documents about Sentinel Defense Solutions. Contracts. Communications. Plans. She shows the boss internal corporate emails discussing urban destabilization protocols and creating security demand through controlled chaos. My father did not just work for Christoph Chemical Manufacturing, Anna continues. He was researching psychological compounds under a secret contract with Sentinel Defense Solutions. They wanted weapons for controlling civilian populations during riots and protests. The big boss reads the documents with growing horror. My father discovered they planned to test the compounds on real populations. He threatened to expose them. Your financial advisor, Victor, had secret ties to Sentinel. They fed him the embezzlement story. They made you think my father was your enemy. They used me. The Mafia boss says quietly. They used everyone. You were the weapon that silenced my father. I was the weapon that destabilized your organization. All to create enough chaos to justify billion-ruble security contracts. Anna closes the laptop. I refined my father's research. I weaponized his work. But I only accelerated a plan already in motion. Anna reveals more evidence. Sentinel Defense Solutions funded the original chemical research 20 years ago. They wanted psychological weapons that could destabilize enemy organizations without leaving evidence of external attack. Make criminal networks collapse from within, Anna explains. Turn soldiers against leaders. Create paranoia and chaos. Then offer privatized security as the solution. The strategy worked in 3 other cities before Moscow. Each time, organized crime suddenly became unstable. Violence increased. Local governments signed massive contracts with Sentinel for security services. Your rival organizations? Anna continues. Some of them received similar shipments months ago. Different charities. Same contaminated crates. Sentinel has been destabilizing Moscow's entire underworld for 2 years. The Mafia boss understands now why his rivals attacked when they did. They were not coordinating against him. They were all suffering the same invisible poison. Everyone became paranoid and aggressive at the same time. The city descended into chaos by design. Why tell me this? The boss asks. Why not just let me burn? Because I realize destroying you does not bring my father back. It just gives Sentinel exactly what they want. Another victory. Another city under their control. Anna looks at him with eyes that show genuine emotion for the first time. I hate you. You killed my father. But I hate them more. They turned my father's research into a weapon. They manipulated both of us. They profit from suffering. She extends her hand. Temporary alliance? She asks. The big boss stares at her hand for a long moment. Then he shakes it. Sometimes enemies unite against bigger enemies. The Mafia boss and Anna break into a Sentinel corporate facility on the outskirts of Moscow. The building looks like a normal office complex. Security is heavy, but not impossible. They move through ventilation systems and service corridors. Anna knows the layout from stolen blueprints. The boss knows how to bypass security systems from years of criminal experience. They reach the central server room at 2 in the morning. Anna connects directly to the network and begins downloading encrypted files. How long? The big boss asks, watching the door. 10 minutes. Maybe 15. The files contain evidence of everything. Psychological weapons research. Testing protocols. Lists of destabilization targets across 20 cities. Financial projections showing profit increases from security contracts. Communications between Sentinel executives discussing acceptable civilian casualties. At minute 12, alarms sound. Guards rush toward their location. The Mafia boss holds them off while Anna finishes the download. He fires precisely, aiming to wound rather than kill. These guards are just employees, not decision-makers. Got it, Anna shouts. They escape through a loading dock and drive away minutes before police arrive. Back in a safe location, Anna copies the files to encrypted drives. She sends them to 3 investigative journalists simultaneously. Different countries, different news organizations. By morning, the story breaks worldwide. The documents are published within 18 hours. Every major news organization covers the story. Headlines scream about corporate conspiracy and weaponized psychology. Markets react immediately. Sentinel Defense Solutions stock collapses by 60% in the first hour of trading. Investors panic. Board members resign. Government contracts are frozen pending investigation. Authorities in multiple countries begin criminal inquiries. Former clients distance themselves. Insurance companies file lawsuits. The corporation faces billions in liability. The Mafia boss watches the news coverage from a safe house. He sees Sentinel executives arrested. He sees protests outside their offices. He sees everything he helped create falling apart. For a moment, it appears the nightmare is ending. Justice seems possible. Bad people face consequences. The victims might actually get truth. Then the boss receives an encrypted file from an unknown source. The file contains authorization codes and approval signatures for expanding Anna's shipment routes into deeper territory. Signatures that allowed contaminated crates to reach the most critical warehouses. The signatures belonged to Dmitry. His brother knowingly approved the expanded deliveries that poisoned their organization. The Mafia boss confronts Anna with the evidence. She looks at the documents, and her face goes pale. "I did not know," she says quietly. "I thought he was just processing standard permits." "My brother let poison into our empire deliberately," the boss says. His voice sounds hollow. Anna finds more files on Dmitry's encrypted devices. Messages between Dmitry and Sentinel executives. Payments to offshore accounts. Plans for restructuring the organization after destabilization. "He believed the old empire was too corrupt," Anna reads aloud. "He thought controlled collapse would force modernization, remove corrupt captains, create opportunity for reform. Dmitry secretly cooperated with Sentinel. He thought he could manage the chaos, guide it toward positive change, build something better from the ruins. But he underestimated how completely Sentinel controlled the situation. He thought he was a partner. He was just another tool." When Dmitry realized the scale of damage and tried to back out, Sentinel eliminated him. The sniper at the cathedral was not targeting the big boss. It was retaliation against Dmitry for attempting to expose their operation before it completed. "Your brother tried to save you at the end," Anna says. "That is why he went to the warehouse personally. He wanted to prove the crates were dangerous so you would stop the operation." The Mafia boss feels something break inside his chest. His brother betrayed him, then died trying to fix that betrayal. The boss finds a final recorded message on Dmitry's phone. His brother recorded it the day before the cathedral shooting. His voice sounds tired but determined. "Brother, if you are hearing this, I am probably dead. You need to know the truth about everything. I believed our empire was poison. We hurt people. We corrupted the city. I thought destabilization would force us to change or collapse completely. Either outcome seemed better than continuing as we were. Sentinel approached me 2 years ago. They showed me evidence of our crimes. They offered me a way to transform everything. I thought I was choosing reform. I was choosing destruction. I did not understand how deep their manipulation went. They did not want reform. They wanted chaos. Profitable chaos. I tried to stop it when I realized the truth. But they owned too many people. Controlled too many systems. They made me a liability. I am sorry, brother. I betrayed you trying to save you. I destroyed our empire trying to fix it. Turn over all evidence to authorities. Everything. Our crimes and theirs. Let justice take everyone. That is the only real reform." The recording ends. The Mafia boss plays it 3 times. He memorizes every word, every regret in his brother's voice. Dmitry believed he was a revolutionary. He died realizing he was just another corrupt fool. The Mafia boss makes his decision. He contacts the Moscow prosecutor's office and requests a meeting. He brings every piece of evidence. His own crimes. Sentinel's operations. Victor's manipulation. Anna's revenge. Dmitry's betrayal. Everything. The prosecutor looks at the mountain of documents with shock. "You understand this will send you to prison for life?" she says. "Yes," the boss replies. "You are confessing to murder, arson, drug trafficking, money laundering, dozens of other charges." "Yes." "Why?" The big boss thinks about Dmitry bleeding on cathedral steps. About Ivan Morozov burning in a warehouse. About Anna spending years building revenge. About Victor dying before he could confess. About all the victims of Sentinel's engineered chaos. "Because my brother was right," the Mafia boss says. "Real reform requires everyone paying for their crimes. Including me." Within a week, arrests begin. Sentinel executives. Corrupt police officers. Government officials who took bribes. Even some of the boss's former captains who accepted the poisoned empire. The trials last months. Evidence is overwhelming. Corporate leadership collapses. Government reforms sweep through Moscow's security apparatus. The Mafia boss is sentenced to 35 years without parole. 5 years later, the boss sits in a maximum security prison cell watching news coverage of ongoing reforms. Moscow's criminal underworld looks completely different. New leadership. New accountability. Less violence. The Mercy Foundation, now run by different people, actually helps families. Anna serves as a consultant, using her chemistry knowledge to identify dangerous compounds in urban environments. She visits the Mafia boss once. They sit across from each other in the prison visiting room, separated by reinforced glass. Your brother wanted reform, Anna says. He chose the wrong method, but the goal was right. He destroyed everything trying to build something better, the boss replies. Sometimes destruction is the price of change. They sit in silence for a moment. I still hate you for killing my father, Anna finally says. I know, but I understand now that we were both weapons. Someone else pulled the trigger. She stands to leave. Before she goes, she turns back. Your brother's message reached people. Real reform happened because you exposed everything. That matters. After she leaves, the big boss stares at the concrete walls of his cell. If only he had refused the simple favor that Sunday morning. If only he had questioned the perfect paperwork. If only he had trusted nothing and suspected everything. His brother would still be alive. His empire would still exist. He would still have power. But nothing would have changed. The corruption would have continued. Sentinel would have found other weapons. Other cities would have suffered. Sometimes the price of truth is everything you built. Sometimes the cost of justice is your own freedom. He understands too late that power built on silence and fear invites betrayal from everyone, especially the people you trust most. Even your own blood. The news shows footage of children receiving medical care in clean clinics funded by recovered Sentinel assets. Anna helped design the program. At least something good came from all the destruction. That has to be enough. Comment below where you're watching from and what time it is there. If stories about fathers facing impossible choices speak to you, hit that subscribe button. More powerful stories are coming your way.